Hi everyone, it's Mari Mull. I'm here to talk about Star Wars Legacy of Vader, my top 7 list for issue 1. So we have a new Kylo Ren comic by Charles Soule, who previously did Rise of Kylo Ren, great comic, you should check it out, featuring the art of Luke Ross, who previously did Jango Fett last year. So I'm just going to go through this comic, not the entire comic, because I don't want to spoil everything, but I just want to highlight some of the things I thought were interesting or a little funny. So starting around the beginning of the comic, Snoke's body is shown in 2 coffins, which I think is kind of funny on its own, but I do want to point out the arms are missing, so who knows where Snoke's arms went. Another funny scene on here is right after Kylo is introduced as Supreme Leader. Kylo was pretty tormented by his father and uncle's death and his breakup with Rey, and he berates himself and calls himself a baby for not wanting to let go of the past. I just think it's a really cool scene. And then number 3, we have a scene where Kylo goes to talk to Hux privately, and we learn that Kylo was never told military matters by Snoke. And this actually makes sense because we know in The Force Awakens he didn't really seem to know much about Starkiller Base or too many more things that was going on with it. Kylo has never seemed that interested in the military, and I don't think he's really that interested in it now. But he still wants to seem important. So we come to our 4th thing that I thought was really cool, as he tells Hux he wants a throne made. And that's interesting because that's what Vader had created for himself in one of the previous Darth Vader comics. It's also a task that Hux doesn't really care about, and I think he's afraid he might get killed if he doesn't make it to Kylo Ren's liking. So I think that's a little funny scene right there, but it's a really good throwback to some of the earlier Vader comics, I think about 2015, 2016. Number 5, Kylo does not refer to his mother as Leia, but as my mother. And I point that out because he refers to his father as Han Solo most of the time. And of course, he refers to his uncle as Luke. But I thought it was interesting that he just calls her my mother. So that's one of those things that he's always going to think of her as family, even if he doesn't quite with the others. Number 6, it's just a freebie. It's really not even number 6. I just think this is a pretty picture. He's on Mustafar here, which is where the next part of the comic takes place. He gets into a fight with these guards outside of Darth Vader's castle. But I want to highlight number 7, which is this one comic panel here where he says, "I have destroyed legends." Now, who could that be? It could be Snoke, but I don't think Snoke is necessarily that well known in their universe. I think he's probably referring to Han Solo, his father, which means he still thinks of his father as a legend. And then we finally get to the final, number 7th scene that I actually want to highlight, which is near the end, but not the very end, and that's where he finds Vanee. Now, Vanee, if you don't remember him, he is Darth Vader's servant in Rogue One, and he's incredibly ancient at this point, and now he's a machine with his head in a glass bowl. Vanee was introduced in Rogue One as Vader's servant. He's always been very devoted to Vader, and he's probably going to be here in these comics for most of its run, which will be about 15 issues at minimum. I'm not going to show the very end of this comic. Again, definitely pick this up and read it for yourself. But I really love seeing Vanee here. It's a little bit different than in Star Wars Lego, where he's actually still kind of a whole person. But hey, Lego is not fully canon, and that's okay. But I can't wait to see where we go with this, and I will be updating this every month with each issue that we get. This is so far one of my favorite Ben Solo Kylo Ren comics, and I love it. I hope you do too. May the Force be with you.